Angelica has her eyes set on a toy handcuff set that is among a variety of toys Drew is going to donate to orphan children. Angelica pleads for the handcuffs and claims that it's just one toy and won't be missed. But Drew tells her she can have all the presents she wants on her birthday. When Chuckie comes to visit, Angelica decides that they should sneak into the closet and get the handcuffs set with Chuckie being on the lookout. After a couple of failed attempts where Chuckie mistakes a sock for a mouse and then gets lonely and abandons his lookout duties, Angelica succeeds in getting the handcuffs set. When Chuckie asks what handcuffs are for, Angelica demonstrates by handcuffing herself to Chuckie, saying that she is a police officer arresting him. However, they then discover there is no key in the box, and as such, they cannot remove the handcuffs. Angelica and Chuckie repeatedly fail in their attempt to remove the handcuffs, and during the middle of it, Drew informs them that Chaz is on his way over to collect Chuckie. After several further failed attempts to remove the handcuffs and thoughts about life will be like handcuffs together, with Chuckie remarking that at least they'll never be lonely, Chaz arrives. Angelica repeatedly tells Chuckie to be quiet, despite the fact he's trying to tell her something. Placing a puppet over the handcuffs, Angelica pleads with Chaz and Drew for Chuckie to be allowed to spend the night under the roof, that they are now the best for friends. And Chaz and Drew agree. As they head back to Angelica's room, Chuckie exclaims his happiness towards the fact they are now best friends, only for Angelica to tell him she was just lying. Chuckie then reveals that he found the key under the toy puppet and he didn't tell Angelica earlier because she didn't give him the chance. Angelica furiously unlocks the handcuff from Chuckie's hand, telling him to never talk to her again, no matter what. Chuckie starts to leave Angelica's room, however. The handcuff locks itself again on Angelica's bedpost, the key lying just out of reach. Angelica calls for Chuckie to come back, but he refuses, fed up with Angelica's mistreatment of him. Angelica then begs for help, promising Chuckie for her Cynthia doll and her cat Fluffy in return, but still, her words fall on deaf ears. While playing with their toys, the babies overhear Grandpa Lou saying it looks like a blizzard outside. Tommy, Phil, and Lo wonder what a blizzard is. Chuckie's more concerned about his new fire engine. Stu tripped over and one of the wheels broke. Tommy isn't worried about the snow, though. Chuckie isn't so sure. He's not the only one. It turns out Dee Dee's going to stay over at Betty and Howard's house for the night, even though they're just next door. Chas shares a sentiment. The next morning they wake up and see a very different world outside than one they're used to. They interpret it as the sky is falling and decide a blizzard is when the sky falls. Lou walks into the room and mentions with the babies it looks like the North Pole outside. Downstairs at breakfast, Stu rushes into a kitchen cheering because school has been canceled. Chaz reminds Stu he's a grown man and hasn't been to school in years. Stu's enthusiasm isn't dampened, however, as he announces he wants to take the kids outside to play on the snow. Outside, Stu and Lou are building a snowman. Chaz nails Stu with a snowball and runs. Stu decides to give chase and asks Lou to keep an eye on the kids while he deals with Chaz. As soon as Stu leaves, Lou eats the snowman's carrot nose. At this point, Chuckie tells his friends he has a great idea about how to have his fire engine fixed. He reminds them that Lou said the North Pole is near here, so they'll go to the North Pole to see Santa Claus to give Chuckie the fire engine to have him repair it. Tommy, Phil, and Lil love the idea of a dangerous journey to go see Santa Claus. Nobody realizes that Angelica is secretly listening to them. To travel, the babies pile in the wagon with toys and have Spike pull them along. The journey takes longer than they expect, and then Spike runs away, leaving them stranded. They build an igloo for warmth and shelter and hide inside of it, waiting for a rescue team. Nobody comes, so Tommy leaves to look for help. Once outside, he meets Angelica of the North, who claims her area is her kingdom. Tommy asks for help, and she agrees, since their destination is the North Pole. Chuckie, Phil, and Lil worry about Tommy and leave the igloo to look for him. The two groups unite and travel onward together, with Angelica riding the sled while the babies pull. Eventually, they appear to reach the North Pole, a giant candy cane, but Angelica is furious because there's no sign of Santa Claus anywhere. Chuckie interprets this to mean they've actually traveled to the South Pole. Tommy sees this as a victory, where they've discovered the South Pole, and a flag is erected onto the giant candy cane. Just then the monster seems to show up, whom they think to be the abdominal snowman, though it turns out to be none other than the snowman Lou is making. Lou decides it's time to go inside and warm up. Inside, Angelica is still furious because she didn't get any toys from Santa, but the babies are happy they've had fun because Lou fixed Chuckie's fire engine. Their goal is reached. They look outside and imagine they see the South Pole candy cane with a flag flying proudly.